All right, here we go. It's Wednesday, day 3 of e-learning. First, I want to say I'm really sorry about the difficulties that we've had connecting to the remote desktops. I'm going to keep trying to smooth this out. We'll do the best we can. I will explain this as we go today. I really want you to try and connect, see if you can make it work. I'm going to go through it here, but I do have an alternative assignment that is very short if you cannot connect. I'll get to that here in just a minute. All right, so today, and this is not posted on Schoology at the time that I'm recording this, but it will be by the time you're looking at it. We're going to work on, so this is still type stuff. We're talking about shirt design, and so we're looking at different things that you can do with type. So this handout will be posted on Schoology, just one example of each of these tricks. We're going to, and it's ideas we've done before, we just haven't done them with type. We're going to take a look at filling type with a custom pattern, and then doing a little bit of draw inside type. And this says, I see an error on my document here. Sorry about this. I'm making a lot of mistakes this semester. You don't have to do 2 of these. It says ×2 here. You don't have to do 2. Just one example of each. I'm altering the scope of the assignment for the e-learning thing, so don't do them twice. Just do one example of custom pattern, one example of draw inside. All right, so I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to go through this. Parts of this video, I'll probably speed up the waiting parts. So if it goes quiet and goes fast, that's because I sped it up. All right, so new tab, horizon.plainfield.k12.in.us. I'm going to go to the HTML, and I'm going to put in my username and password. I'm going to click on PCSC Adobe, and now we wait. And I'll probably speed this part of the video up. Connected to a desktop, still have to wait, don't do anything yet, still have to wait for the Adobe sign-in screen to come up, so I'll probably speed this part of the video up. All right, we have an Adobe sign-in screen, so remember, like I said, don't do continue with Google. We're just going to put here on the email address, put in your school email. But sometimes this Chrome window pops up, and you could use it later to turn in your work, or you could just close it for now. I'm going to go ahead and close it. Got my email address in, I'll click continue. Again, whenever I log in, I see this choice for personal or company. If you see any choice like that, you would want school account or federated account. You might not even see this option. Single sign-on. If everything goes well, you're going to see that window that says you're all set. And the frustrating thing, I think, for all of us is it works like every time for me. And I know for some of you, you're doing it right and it's just not working. But I'd like for it to try every day. Give it a try every day. And I'll try to have alternatives for you if you just can't connect. Probably speed this part of the video up. The Creative Cloud apps are loading. All right, the Creative Cloud apps are all loaded. I could start Illustrator from here, or I could go down to the Windows button at the bottom corner of this tab. Remember that This is, I've said this a lot, but this is kind of like inside this one little tab that says VMware up here. It's kind of like there's a whole computer inside that tab, and you have to pretend that inside that tab you're on your, like on your computer at school. I'll just go ahead and open Illustrator from here. That's fine with me. And we have Illustrator running. Now I'm going to get into the assignment. Now I will minimize this stuff here for a second. I'm going to close this window. I mentioned this the other day or yesterday in a video. If you want to connect to your Google Drive, you can use this drive file stream, and you would have to go through all of the, you have to put in your redpride.net email address, and you go through single sign-on, and it will make a connection to your Google Drive. And then you could save your work on your Google Drive. Actually, I think I'm just going to close that because I'll just save my work on my network drive, and that should, and I'll show you what to do about turning it in here in a minute. All right, so here we go. Assignment time. Create new. Just going to go to print, letter. Going to make an artboard here, and it doesn't matter that much what size it is. First of all, I'll close this little tour window here. And first of all, I just need some type. Let's just say, I'm going to click once, and I'll just say, I don't know, my brain is not working like, you know what, wait, I'm going to do. All right, you'll be able to see that better here in a minute. Oh, I want those to be capital. There we go. So I'm just going to make USA, and you could do whatever. And this is interesting, my properties panel. And see, you may run into stuff like this. My properties panel over here, for whatever reason, is showing nothing. So I would really like to change the font. So you can, if this were to happen to you, and I'm not sure why my properties panel is showing nothing, but you can get windows that you need. If I go to Window, and I'm going to go to Type and Character, Window, Type, Character, and that gives me fonts and things. And then I could also go to Window, and I'll go to Swatches because I might want to do something with color, maybe. All right, so my properties panel is acting up over here, not sure why. I'll just get the windows that I need. All right, I want something kind of big and bold for this. I'll go Show Card Gothic, that'll work. And let's see, I don't know, I'll just make it yellow, and I might also, there's also a stroke panel, because again my properties panel is acting up, so I'm going to open the stroke panel, and I can give that a little bit of a stroke now. Okay. All right, so the first thing we're doing, if I look back at the handout, is filling type with a custom pattern. All right, well, we've done custom patterns before, so all I have to do here is create something I want to use for my pattern. So what I think I'll do is I'm just going to keep this super simple. I mean, it could just be like polka dotted, or maybe I'll use a little tiny star here. So I'm going to make a little star. It's not going to be very big. I'll make that star red. I'm going to take the stroke off of that star. I don't think, well, no, maybe I'll leave a little stroke on it. That'd be all right. So I've got this little red star, right? So I'm going to get that selected, and let's review how to make a pattern. You go to Object, Pattern. I'm working on a laptop, so I have to scroll these menus. Object, Pattern, Make. Click OK. It'll look like, you know, it gives you a sample, but you've got pattern options, And you could grid it, brick it, hex it, whatever. I kind of like the bricking on this. So I'm going to make that adjustment. I'll brick by row and I'll click done. Remember that patterns go on your swatches panel. So I'm going to take that. My yellow, it's probably going to knock out my yellow here, but that's all right. And there we go. So my USA text is filled with red stars. So that's one of the things I'd like for you to try today, is just the idea of creating some text and then fill it with a custom pattern. And don't, I mean, make a little dot, make a little circle if you want to, and just do it that way. All right, so the other thing that is on the agenda here today, if I switch over to this handout, is draw inside. Okay. Well, let's go, and notice that again, this tab up here, this VMware, it's like a separate computer. This is the one that's connected to a remote desktop at school, and this one is not. You know, this tab here is just here on my laptop, so it's kind of weird. All right, so let's make some text, right? You got to have some text here, so I'll just I'm just going to say INDIANA. I'll go get my black arrow and I'll make that bigger. Move things around here a little bit. And again, you know, I pulled out this character panel. I went to Windows, Type, Character, and I got the character panel, so I could change the font or whatever if I wanted to. I don't think I'm going to. Try to save a little time. I'm going to change the color of it. And I also pulled out the stroke panel. Remember, if like this, like I said, my properties panel is acting up. I have no idea why. There's workarounds. All the panels that you need are on the window menu. All right, so I'm going to stroke that up a little bit. All right, cool. Okay, now draw inside. Remember that was down here. There's these little buttons at the bottom of your tool panel, and what we usually do is draw normal. The third one over, if you're moving to the right, is draw inside. So I'm going to take this text. I'm going to switch to draw inside mode. Remember that you can always kind of tell draw inside when it has those little dotted brackets around it. And I'm not going to do anything real big and fancy here. I'm going to take the paintbrush tool. And I think I would like to do a white. I'm going to use a white paintbrush here. Turn my caps lock off. Make my brush a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to stroke. Watch this. When I stroke some white paint, I'm just going to make some waves that go through the text. See that? And you can do whatever, right? But I'm just taking a white paintbrush and just kind of stroking through the text here. And because it's set on draw inside, those white strokes that I'm making, of course, only show up inside the letters. See the idea? And you could get really creative. I mean, you could do all kinds of things. And I see that doesn't look terrible. That's kind of a fun design that I've got going there, and I was doing draw inside. All right, now what I should do here is when I'm done doing draw inside, I should go back to draw normal. Don't forget that. Now here's the trick about saving is this. When you're on this remote desktop, all right, I'm going to go through the whole thing. You got to stick with me here. So I'm going to go File, and I'm going to go Save As. And because I'm on the remote desktop, I can get to my network drive at school, right? The network drive. So I'm going to go to this PC on the left. I'm going to scroll this window down, and I'm going to look for my network drive. There it is, J. Arvin. And I'm just going to call this, I'll just call this Type 3. All right, I'm saving it on my network drive. And I can click, well, I can, yeah, there we go. Scroll that down, I'll click OK. And just click OK on, let's see, would you like to optimize your file? Later. All right, you can click later on that. All right, so this is saved on my network drive. So I'm safe to exit Illustrator. I've got it saved. And you know what? If you're having trouble saving, take a screenshot of this. Right? If you can get to Illustrator, if you can get there and you can do the assignment, but you're having trouble saving, take a screenshot of your work and then turn the screenshot in. I'll take that. It's fine with me. All right, so anyway, here it is. So I'm going to get out of Illustrator. Now, you got to turn this in, but a lot of times I think people will say, well, I'll just go, I can get off of the remote desktop and go turn it in. That gets a little tricky. Depends on where you saved it. So here's what I would do. I'm going to stay right here on the remote desktop. And I'm going to go ahead. This is weird, but I'm going to start Google Chrome. And you might have to sign into it because, like I said, this is a remote. This is a remote desktop here, and so I'd probably have to click that little person icon up there and like say turn sync on, however you normally sign into Chrome. But I got to do all this, and this is, I know, it's a pain. All right, so I put in my email address and I do next, and I get that organizational account. You probably won't see that. And then I got to do single sign-on. Remember, this is all taking place on that tab where it says VMware Horizon, right? I got to verify that it's me. I'm not going to quit on the remote desktop. I'll do link data until I get this all turned in. Yes, I'm in. And I know I've said this over and over, this is weird, but now what we've got, this window right here is a browser inside a browser. All right, anyway. And I have Schoology kind of bookmarked up here on my Chrome. So you get to Schoology however you want to, but you got to do it. I'm still on the remote desktop, and I've made a new window that is running Chrome on the new desktop. And oh, look, here I am on Schoology. And then I would be able to go ahead and click the course. And oops, I went to the wrong folder there. Designed with Illustrator. And while I'm making this movie, I don't have this assignment linked up yet. I will have by the time you're looking at it. So there would be lesson number 3, type number 3, right? And so the link for turning it in would be right there. So you don't want to leave, I know that's weird, but you don't want to leave this tab when it's time to turn in your work. You want to turn it in right here while you're still on the virtual desktop. Okay? Hopefully that helps. So, let's say I turned it in. I opened this little window here and I got to Schoology and I turned it in. I could go ahead and close that window. Now, the other thing you ought to do, when you're done on the virtual desktop, on this VMware Horizon thing, there's a Windows button in the bottom left. So you click that Windows button, you click power, and then shut the virtual desktop down. All right, that's or you could restart it, but it's a really good idea to do one of those two. Click the Windows, go to power, and I'm going to shut the virtual desktop down. And then you should see a message that says disconnected. So now I know I'm done with the virtual desktop. I can just close that, and I could close that tab. Now, I do want to tell you just a little bit about the alternative assignment. This will be posted on Schoology. Here it is. If you absolutely cannot connect to the remote, you've tried and there's an error and you just can't do it and it's just not working, I've posted this on Schoology. You should only do this assignment if you can't connect. Just go do. This is simple, but go out and do a Google image search for T-shirt text design, and find some shirts where you think the text is cool for whatever reason. Maybe it's because of the way it's arranged, the font that they used, or just the creative things they did. Like maybe you like this one because you think the font, it's a very scripty looking font, and maybe the lightning bolt even floats your boat a little bit. Or this one, how they took text and they squeezed it into a shape. Or maybe you like this one because of see how the text is slanted up and the way they bent the text. And so what you would do if you can't connect create a Google Doc, go find 2 images of a t-shirt or a sweatshirt where you think the type is cool. Save those images and stick them on the Google Doc. And then just write a couple of sentences that explains to me, here's what I like about this shirt. Here's what I like about the type that's on this shirt. All right, and so that's if you can, and then submit that Google Doc to me on Schoology. All right. So again, as always, I'll try to answer emails as quickly as I can. Make sure you do the attendance check in. All right. Good luck today. Hope it goes okay. Keep me posted on how things go, and let's go get it.